I have a controversial opinion. I think being normal is dangerous, and I'd rather be lonely. What does it mean to not be normal anyways? It basically means I have a hard time communicating with other people. For example, when I was an intern at a production studio, I never really got lunch with my fellow interns. I really wanted to be productive and eat my lunch at my desk because I wanted to get a lot more work done that way. Meanwhile, everyone else would get lunch together and kind of get to know each other. I guess the not normal part of all of this is I didn't know it was not normal. I thought it was just a personal choice that other people would respect and would leave me alone. Until one day, one of my fellow interns came to me and was like, I know you're trying to be really productive and you kind of prefer it this way, but it's kind of important to have lunch with other people every once in a while. He had to explain to me how it looks on the outside, which is I look really antisocial and mean. A lot of the times when people get together and have lunch, I find it really shallow. I don't think people care about having friends. I think they care about wanting to be liked. They can feel whatever they feel about you as long as you like them. They can hate you. That's why I hate shallow, small talk conversations like, oh, the weather's really nice today. That's basically what people were asking me to do. To have really shallow, meaningless conversations that exhaust me at work. And I didn't understand why I should empathize with people wanting that. It wasn't until my coworker came to me and said, we want to get to know you. Maybe working wouldn't be so tough if you had someone to talk to every once in a while. You can see how there's a lot of misunderstandings that can happen. That's how abnormal I am. That's how, honestly, I don't think I'm that abnormal. Because if half the population are extroverts and the other half of the population are introverts, half the population feels the same way I do. They just won't say it the way I do. Because society is built for extroverts to have the easiest time, I want to talk about how putting too much value in the way extroverts behave is actually really dangerous. By the way, I am making some tea. I'm making ginger, chrysanthemum, motherwort, fennel tea. It's basically good for your period, and if you're a man and you don't need that, it's good for digestion and helping you eliminate your bowels. You have constipation issues? Try some chrysanthemum tea. Also helps you sleep really well at night. As you can probably guess, I have not been very liked in my life, and I kind of understand. Most people understand and want to be liked. They empathize with trying to change who you are, change the way you look and behave, just so other people will like you. Why would I intentionally or unintentionally make people dislike me like this? Why can't I try harder? I guess if I were to explain my thought process, or lack thereof, I value my time and my energy more than I value other people's opinion about me. It's that I only have so much energy available to me at the beginning of every day. I don't know if you've ever been around someone that completely exhausts you. I'm particularly sensitive to other people's energy. I'm like a cat. If you are a lot to handle, good for you, but you make me want to take a nap. It's not that I even dislike you, it's that I can't be around you. And I like when people understand that about me and they understand my boundaries. I don't like it when people try to change my behavior when maybe I'm doing something for a very good reason to protect my own sanity. So I guess when I'm trying to explain to someone that I don't really want to hang out with them, it comes across as rude, especially to an extrovert where that just doesn't happen. They just never not want to hang out with other people. But I'm just gently saying, please understand that I'm tired right now. Or maybe I don't even want to have to explain myself of what I want. Just please respect me. I guess as an introvert, I feel constantly disrespected. And I feel like I have to force myself to respect other people's wishes and desires. You grew up kind of learning how to ignore your own desires and give other people what they want, like having lunch with them. I think everyone who's like me had to just accept this is how the world works. I can't change the way people interact socially. I also believe a lot of people don't care. I do feel like a lot of people put on a show for each other in ways that are very disingenuous and don't mean anything. I think a lot of time is wasted trying to impress people that you don't want to impress. So since I can't do anything about being an introvert or the way society likes to run itself, and when you are unfortunately alone, you learn how to cope. The way I learned how to cope was basically through drawing and other types of art. When you're a little kid and no one likes you, no one wants to play with you, you end up spending a lot of time alone. You let out your anxieties and you cope through your emotions through art. Especially when you're not very good at explaining your emotions through normal ways of doing it, like talking. It's kind of nice to get lost in your own little world sometimes. You're away from people who are bullying you. You can make up your own friends or stories in your head. When I was lonely, I would write stories about friendship, about characters and people who were friends with each other that had something that I didn't. When I was angry or sad, usually I coped with it through art, and that was out of necessity. I had no other way to cope with these feelings the way other people did. And then suddenly, lo and behold, I am interesting to people. People started complimenting me. They started going, wow, you're a really great artist. Maybe you should do this for a living. I suddenly discovered a way to get people to accept me, because in reality, everyone wants to be liked or loved or understood at the very least. It doesn't feel good to be an outcast. It doesn't feel good to be lonely. It doesn't feel good for people to misunderstand you all the time. So it feels good when you're an artist to draw, not for yourself anymore, but for other people, which at the time I didn't understand how dangerous that could be, because essentially you're becoming addicted to validation. All those things I said I didn't like about normal social interactions, where you're doing things just so you can be liked by other people, you start basically selling yourself just to do that in a different kind of way, especially when you make your passion your career. When I first broke into Hollywood and started working in the animation industry, I thought it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was the ultimate validation-seeking approval that I had ever gotten up to that point. I was loved by my friends and family, and most importantly, my peers. But it wasn't until about a year later that I realized what a mistake it was. I basically sold my soul, my ability to cope with my emotions and who I am as a person, just so I could have some semblance of validation for other people to like me. When you start giving in to validation-seeking behavior, you become addicted to it. It's not really rational why you do things, not anymore. You think you want the things you want. Like, I thought I wanted the approval of my peers. I thought people actually liked me for me, when in reality, they liked me for so many other things. And because I was now dependent on my passion as my income, I basically lost the ability to enjoy art. My passion wasn't really my passion anymore. It was just the skill that I had to make money.
Oh, look at all this food. It's so good. This is how I eat every day. It's the best. So today we have stir-fry bok choy and hamburger steak with rice. Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Art's all right. When I was a kid, I used to look at like people's drawings and I used to get like, oh, I want to draw like that. And I sit there for 6 to 8 hours, Monday through Friday, working on stuff for work. And the last thing I want to do is draw for myself. Nobody will be remembered for the things they do centuries from now. So you should just do things for you, not for anybody else. I think that's how I think of it. Like, there's tons of people out there who work in the animation industry who want to teach people because they just, want that sweet validation from the youngs. I don't give a shit, really. I think a lot of the reason why people want to teach people aren't because they want to share their knowledge. I think it's because they want people to love them.
After I left my career in Hollywood, I lost all the validation I had thought I gained because no one actually liked who I really was. They just liked whatever it was that I gave them. Labor, I guess. I don't know. But I also felt like I lost my passion. I felt dirty. I felt like I gave up a very vulnerable part of myself for money and for the love of basically strangers. So for a while, I really lost my sense of identity. I didn't really know who I was anymore, so I've been trying to find it again. I dove into this YouTube thing, learned how to film, edit, and write my own scripts. For a while, we did these satire skits that made fun of Hollywood on Instagram, which was really fun. I didn't really care how many feathers I ruffled by doing this stuff, because this time, this was for me again. I'm not doing this for validation anymore because I've learned my lesson. But the thing that worked the best out of everything that I've tried was creating music. It all started with a joke song called Thought Leader, which was just a stupid rap song where we were letting out our frustrations. The process of producing that song and then the music video was just really, really fun. I hadn't felt that kind of fun since I was a little kid drawing. Maybe it has something to do with music gets a certain amount of emotion and a point across better than any YouTube video ever could, in less time and fewer words. Even a 2-hour-long podcast doesn't really do the same thing. So in my free time outside of making YouTube videos and podcast episodes, we've been working on music in private, just for ourselves, with no expectations. No expectations that anybody is gonna like anything that we do, because honestly, I don't know how good we are. I barely know how to do most of this stuff. But the point is, we really enjoy it. It gives me an outlet to let out my emotions the way I used to as a kid. I'm learning how to play piano and drums, and it's basically just a way for me to cope with everything that I've dealt with, from leaving my career, leaving California, moving here, and dealing with everything that comes with living in a new town. So we have a new song that you can listen to right now called I Dance Alone. If you care to listen and support our beginning efforts at music, I'll link the Spotify and music video in the description box down below. When I first started all this YouTube business and being kind of sort of a controversial person online, to be honest, it was very rough for me. I was already going through a lot of emotional things that I didn't even really realize that I was going through at the time. I don't think I was even capable of admitting how hurt I was until recently. That's how deep I kind of hide things away. I can't even decipher my own emotions sometimes. I think everyone has to go through a period of time where you're kind of scared to be yourself. I keep going through periods of being myself, getting punished for it, being myself again, and being punished for it on a very public level. And that was not pleasant. Lo and behold, a few years later, I'm at 50K and growing. I'm really happy to find a group of people who like me for me. I'm not trying to hide anything anymore. And if there's anything I could say to the younger version of me, is that it's okay to not be normal. Embrace it, because all you have to do is just be patient enough to find other people exactly like you. And they're out there. You just gotta wait for them.